Hi, I'm Sandra Burris with Keller Willams Realty, and today we're going to talk about how I price properties in this crazy market. Stay tuned. People often ask me if it's very different pricing a property in a seller's market, an aggressive seller's market like we have right now. And the truth is, there are some things that are different, but much of it's the same. I have some basic steps that I use when I price a property. The first thing I do is I take a look at the subject property. I want to see the location, the condition, the upgrades that are in the home. I want to check out the neighborhood and what else is around this property. Then what I do is I preview active properties in the area, ideally within a mile of this house. And I check and see what are other buyers going to be looking at when they're looking at our property. So I take a look at those and compare those with this subject property as well. Again, looking at the condition as well as the upgrades. Then what I do is I go through MLS, the multiple listing service, and I take a look at the properties that have gone under contract recently, the ones that are in their option period, which means their inspection period, and then the ones that are in pending status, which means they're outside of their option period waiting for financing and closing. So I take a look at those and I check to see if there's any notes in the multiple listing service that states that it was multiple offers or any kind of indicators that I have that give me an idea about the interest that the market had on this property. And then I look at how quickly it went under contract. Sometimes I'll reach out to the agents and ask them some questions. For instance, how many offers did they have? And did the contract price go above asking price? Sometimes they'll tell me and sometimes they won't. We really don't have access to the sold information until the property has actually closed. I look at the sold properties, those that have sold within 30 days or less. Now, in a stable or a buyer's market, we look at a longer time period, 90 days or more if necessary, to get the comparable properties. I'm trying to see how this property stands in the marketplace for those that have closed recently. So I look at that and I compare the list price to the sold price on those properties. So I gather all that information and then I meet with my sellers. What I do is we sit down and we discuss all this information that we've gathered and we strategize on what we think is a good strategic price for this property. I want them to be aware of where I think in the current market with the current information we have, I think this property could appraise. Now, the things that are important for us to look at when we evaluate that is the location from this property, ideally 1 mile or less away from this property if it's in a community where you've got neighborhoods and so forth. If it's a more rural area, we have to look a little bit further. So I'm looking at that location. I'm looking at a single story versus a single story or a two-story versus a two-story. I only look at those because I believe that's what an appraiser generally looks at. Then what I do is I look at the rooms, the square footage, the condition of those as well, if I can tell, and the upgrades that are stated in the multiple listing service for those. And then I give my client an idea of where I think an appraiser would price this. And that's normally the recommended price that I give. I allow the market to dictate how far above or how close to that appraised value that the market will accept for this property. Even in a busy market like we're in, every house doesn't go in multiple offers, although many do, but not every one. So I want to give my clients the security of knowing that we have priced it appropriately for what we have in the marketplace. It's still, even an aggressive market, it is still important, I believe, not to overprice a house. I think that you don't want the property to sit there. If the property isn't under contract within 10 days, I feel we've overpriced it, and I really don't want to do that to my sellers. I hope this video was helpful to you, and as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and check out our Instagram @Sandra Burris. Thanks so much.